Hi. Earlier, we have created this project, so wherein we have created the tasks, right? So all this into the existing project, which is called Integrated Practice Management System. So once it is done, what is that we need to do? First of all, we need to add the members to the existing project, right? So if you want to add members to the existing project, here you can see there is an option called Group Members, wherein we have to means if you want to see any kind of project details, or if you want to copy the project, or if you want to copy this to the Excel, right? So all these things we can do here. That is one thing. Next, if you want to create a group, here you can see there is an option called Group Member. If you want to add this project to the existing selected groups, you can see here. But what I'm doing is I'm just creating a new group as separate for this project, right? So that we can click on create. Right. So there is one group which was created, right? So there you can see there is a group which was created here. Now, if I want to add any members to the existing project, right? So wherein I can add people to the existing project. This is what I can do, right? So if I want, I can add people to the existing project, but make sure if there are any kind of other people which is to be included, right? So you can see Raj and Naik is what it was added. Next, if I want to see any kind of, but make sure we need to send request over that. So then only based upon the request, we can add people accordingly. That's what we have to do. Otherwise, if you are not sending any request and all, these people adding these people won't be possible. So that is what generally one should understand whenever we are working on this project, right? So what whoever the members we have, right? So what is that to be added to the existing ones, right? So all these things we have to see here. So group member is what we have taken. So whenever we have taken the group member, here we need to add those members so that whenever there is a task which was there, so that it is easy for us to add and as well as sending these people, these things and all everything to the people. That's what generally we need to do. Now I'm just going to the grid here, wherein here you can see there is an option. The first one is called creating an FM account, where if you want to open any kind of details, you can see this is what generally the details which was opened, right? So otherwise you can open here also, right? So here also, and if you want to create any kind of subtask to the existing ones, we can do that. That is also we can do. So what I'm doing is I'm creating an account wherein I am opening details here. Creating of an account is what the task we have to do. To whom are we going to assign is what we have to update here. And if you want to add any kind of label to the existing ones, wherein we can add. Okay, this is what the label I have added. So which is pink one. Add note. Right. So now creating account to access the application. Okay, that's what generally a note which I was writing here. Next, we have to select the start date, wherein I'm selecting start date here. So at the same time, we have to mention the finish date as well. Let's say that 29th is what we have taken, maybe 31st, for example, right? Roughly speaking, right? 29th, 30th, 31st. In 3 days, this task has to be completed. So the duration, you can see whenever we are mentioning the start date, all that, whenever we are mentioning the start date, all that, you can see how many days were there. Those days you can see here, right? So 3 days is what generally it was. And how much work is completed based upon the work what we have completed, it can be shown. At the same time, creating an account is under the bucket of denial management because this is what the project it was. Now we need to see the priority we have to identify. So I was mentioned it as an important priority, and sprint is in the backlog, right? So this is what generally it was. Next, how many hours, right? All these things we have to update here. Next, after that, so this is an effort, how much time it will be taken, all that, right? Complete that I can do it later. Next here, if I want to have any kind of dependencies to the existing ones, we need to do it. Add dependency, right? So search for a task. For example, if I want to create an account, what are the tasks I required? Let's say, for example, creating an account. Let me check. Right, so creating an account where, right, scheduling virtual sessions, right? So, for example, right, so for example, this is the dependency. Let's say that, for example, if this is a dependency, right? So here we have to add the dependencies to the existing project. If this task is depending on some dependencies and all, we have to add the dependencies here. What are the dependencies we want to have? We have to add it. Now, if there is any kind of attachments, right? So if there is any reference documents and all, everything can be done. Now here, this we can add to the existing members. So that what is that we have to do? We need to connect to the Microsoft Teams so that we can add this to the project teams and all. So whoever the project teams do we have it all everything. So for them, this can be added. That is one thing which normally we have to do. Right, so this is what generally the durations, right? So all that informations, everything has to be updated equally. Now, once it is been done, right? So once it is been done, means if you want to copy the task, right? So if you want to copy this or if you want to complete the task, right? So if you want to insert any kind of task above, right? So all these things we can do here. Means if you want to delete, right? So yeah, there is nothing. Yeah. So creating of an account is what, right? Razil Live is what we have assigned it. So which will be the duration of 3 days. If you want to add any kind of columns beside that duration, you can mention. At the same time, if you want to see any kind of quickly, right? So if you want to see the note, you can see, right? So 5th, 30th is what generally the dates wherein we have to mention how many days it will be taken, right? So what will be the thing? All these things can be updated here equally. This is what we need to do, right? So these are the 3 days we have taken. Next, after that, the same thing, right? So if you want to create an AP letters and all that, so if you want to create any, for example, for creating AP letters, if you want to create any subtask, okay, make a subtask, right? So if you want to create any kind of subtask, all that stuff for creating an account, wherein we can do it. So that we can do. Of course, we don't have any subtask as such, hence I'm not creating anything of that sort. Where creating an account is what the next. Right, so creating AP letters, open details, select start date, for example, 31st. Finish date is wherein 4th, for example, right? So 3 days, denial management, effort, and it will be created, right? So creating of AP letters was done. Right, you can see here to who, whatever the tasks we have and to whom are we assigning, all these informations we can see, right? So for creating account is this is for AP letters, like what will be the duration and when is the start date and date, right? All these things we have assigned already. At the same time, if you want to assign anything of that sort and all, everything we can do it. That is one thing. So this is how generally this task has to be created. Now you can see here in connect to the first one, which we have given 3 days, there is a sub task which is a dependency of scheduling work blizzards, as I have just given as dates as 1. Right. So this is how generally the dates can be given in reference to the integrated practice management system. What is that we have created here? So like this, we have to mention the number of dates, all that. Now, if you want to provide any kind of conditional coloring, all that, so we have to select the colors here, right? So for example, start, right? Operator is less than, right? So we need to mention it. Conditional coloring is what we have to give. Now we are going to the board, creating AP letters, you can see, right? So creating AP letters, which has a duration of 3 days, which has to be completed by us, right? So this is what the duration is. Now, if you want to create any kind of label for the existing ones, wherein you can give the label here accordingly. So labels can be created. So yellow is what the label I have given. Next, accessing ERAs. I'm giving blue. You can see here. Okay. Next, flame scrubber. Lime color I have given. Next, billing. branch color I am giving. Next, digital payments. Aqua. For scheduling and all, I'm giving purple. Even sending reminders. Not for reporting. Cranberry. Because this is all for a easy identification. Whatever that I'm giving. All these are easily identification purposes. So that we can easily identify all that. We can easily identify. Right. So this is how generally this labeling was given, right? So for all the projects on it. Now here you can see, right? So these are the two things which we have created. You can see here the timelines was given for these two. So wherein you can see the timelines, whatever we have created so far was given. Of course, I have just as an example, I have created timelines for two tasks, not for other ones. I think you can see here. Right, and whoever the group members we have and all everything. So those group members can be seen here. Now, if there is any kind of tasks, right? So if we can see here, 21 tasks were left, which has not started so far, right? So 21 tasks, because out of how many 22 tasks, we have started one task, right? So that is what we have taken. So hence one task was started already. So in this, that's the reason why it was showing as 21 task, which has not yet started so far. So this is how generally this overall understanding over how to assign team, dates, timings, work, all that, right? So this is how generally we do in reference to MS project itself is concerned. So if you have any questions in regard to that, any kind of training needs, please reach out to the contact details, which will be posted in below to this video. Thank you.